I always say that if you do the same thing the same way other people are doing, you will end up getting the same results other people are getting. And especially in networking, you don't go tiring somebody with information about yourself. Be selectively available. Like, do not always be there. I know that an enemy is very important because, one, not every opinion requires to be expressed or shared out there. Not every unconventional belief needs to be talked about. You do not need people to validate your opinions. You do not need people to understand your worldview. You do not need to change people and to make them realize the things that you see. It's okay. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. At whatever time this episode finds you, I hope your day is going on really well. This is Woman Enough podcast, where we get to learn, unlearn, and become the best versions of ourselves. And this is episode 6. I am your host, Zarela. Welcome to today's episode. We are talking about networking and mastering networking. Networking is very important because your network is your net worth. And when we're talking about a network, we mean having people in your circle who can put you in rooms that you would otherwise can't put yourself in, or people who connect you to opportunities that you cannot get to by yourself, right? So networking is a skill. It's something you learn how to do, and it's something you practice how to do. And today I have a few guidelines, a few points that can be of help to anybody who is in their early 20s or a teenager who's looking to start early to build a network. This is real, this is raw, this is unfiltered, and this is not something to make you feel better. It's something to make you have the greatest network that you will ever have in your life. So let's get right into it. And our first guideline or our first discussion point is become useful before you become close. People often tend to think that networking means that you go to somebody, you give them your business card, they give you your business card, but they give you their business card. But often I feel like that type of networking does not work because people are very inclined to incentives, and somebody would rather offer an opportunity to somebody they feel personally close to rather than a person they exchanged business cards with at a networking event, right? So at this point, we're not talking about those events, no. We're talking about forming relationships with people, which are networks, having friends who are also your network. And so in that case, if you're approaching somebody who is, let's say, in a different level, either career-wise or whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have to approach them in a way that you're actually more useful than you are close. Don't go trying to become their friend. Go trying to become somebody useful. Go do something. Go, there are people who sell shoes. Go show them your knowledge on shoes. If there are people who sell land, go show them your knowledge in marketing. Go show them how you can do this. And then they will see that you're actually useful. And then, because now you are creating value, you become an asset. And when you become an asset, you are protected. Because even in business, assets are protected. And that is it. You don't become desperate. You don't go showing there like unamonyesha you're in problems and you need somebody to save you from yourself. Desperateness is very, very visible. People can see it. People can see when you're desperate, and it's very repulsive. People don't like that. So don't show up desperate, no matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Just wake up, dress nicely, go offer some value. Okay. Point number 2, never reveal your full hand. My mom, my grandma, and every woman that has been in my life, they've always taught me how to hold back information. You don't have to spread your whole information out there. You don't have to spill your beans everywhere. You don't have to tell everybody everything that you're doing. And especially in networking, you don't go tiring somebody with information about yourself. You don't go telling somebody, this is where I was born, this is what I do. No, just tell them what is relevant. Kama huyu mtu anauza mashamba, what is it about you that is relevant about land or selling land? Go tell them that. Go talk to them about that. Usiende kumwambia how you are falling from trees as a child. That is unnecessary information that nobody wants to hear. Okay. Then you stay controlled with information, because now this means that when you're controlled with information, nobody holds leverage against you. You see, the more you keep talking, the more somebody learns who you are, and they learn what you like and what you don't like. Like mtu anakusoma, right? And in those situations, you become very vulnerable, especially when you're dealing with a situation where there is power imbalance and you're the one with less power in this situation. Okay. Point number 3, enter through the side door. I always say that if you do the same thing the same way other people are doing, you will end up getting the same results other people are getting. Okay. If you keep networking the same way other people are networking, you will keep getting the same results other people are getting, right? So show up through the side door. Often these powerful people, these well-established people, they have people they trust, right? They have their day ones, they have their friends, they have people they actually trust, and those are the actual gateways. You don't have to go direct to that person. Ati sasa unataka kutafuta kazi, let's say KEMSA, and you're going to look for the director at KEMSA. Like, that's not possible. But the director at KEMSA has friends. The director at KEMSA has people they know and people they trust and people who work for them. And those are the people that you're supposed to be approaching, not the actual person. Because ukienda hapo na documents zako kama regular people and show up, you're going to be told, zieke hapo, we will call you later, right? But if you form a relationship with a side door, like somebody who knows that person directly and somebody that person can trust, go create value. That person cannot fail to recommend you to whoever it is that you want to get to network with, right? Then mirror their world and not yours. Okay. And this is something that most of us make a lot of mistakes with. Everybody has their own world. Like, we all live in our heads and we are projecting that outside here. Other people are NPCs in your life, but you're an NPC in somebody else's life, right? So this means that when you're interacting with somebody else, in your life, they're an NPC, but in their life, you're an NPC, right? And so this means that you, as the person who is seeking to form a relationship with this person, you take a back seat and you decide to watch their reality instead of trying to make them learn yours. Instead of trying to make somebody see the world the way you see it, you go around and mirror exactly what their world is like. And how do you learn how people see the world? It's by listening to them. What conversations do they have? What do they talk about often? What makes them happy? What makes them angry? And then when you learn these things, you become a mirror. And people usually are attracted more. It doesn't have to be sexually, but people are more attracted to people who mirror their actions, people who do things that they also do. So now when you show up somewhere and you're doing things the way a certain boss would like, who knows? We all know that they will want to be around you and they will want to work with you. Next is be selectively available. Like, do not always be there. Do not always be available. At any time somebody calls you, you are ready to pick a call, you're ready to go there. That makes them see you as somebody who doesn't have anything else to do. And that means that they feel like you're very idle and you're doing too much, And it's literally one of the fastest ways to lose other people is by being there 24/7. You're constantly there. And it doesn't mean that sasa akikupigia unajifanya hujaona so that you're not always there. It just means that have hobbies, have a life, have other things, like kwada vitu zingine za kufanya so that you have a life to the point that you're not always there, like you're not always available. Let them see your value when you're absent. Let them see that you actually do create value just because you're absent for once, right? And the next one is appeal to self-interest and never mercy. This kind of ties to the other one that I talked about, mirroring their own reality. It's like you can't go appealing for mercy. You can't go begging them to, oh, nimelala njaa. Oh, it's okay, you might have slept hungry, but don't go telling somebody you slept hungry. That's like you're trying to unafanya wakuhurumie. And these people, they're used to people approaching them in that way. Iyo ya nihurumie uishe. They're used to that. Everybody approaches them that way. So the thing is, you approach them in a different way. You go like you're appealing to their self-interest. Kama you're seeing this person is a CEO, they're having a very hard time moving around with their things, and you can be a very good personal assistant, you offer that. They don't have to say yes. But with you offering something instead of going there being like, please buy me dinner, they're going to understand that this is somebody who has a very good head screwed up on their necks, and they want to be around you, right? And they want to have a relationship with you too, okay? The next one is speak less than necessary. This ties up to the one that we talked about, being selective with information, because now here you speak less than necessary. You don't even speak as necessary, like you don't speak as much as you should, you speak less, because sometimes we people tend, especially if you've grown up being a people pleaser, you will always want to fill in every silence, because silence is very uncomfortable, especially for a people pleaser, because you're wondering, like in that silence you're trying to fill it in. You're like, ama nimesema kitu mbaya, what did I just say that made everybody mad? Why are they silent? Why? And then you might end up finding yourself talking, just trying to fill in that silence. And when you do that, people learn you. People realize like they learn the things that they're not supposed to be learning, you know. And some of them like means that these people can be very controlling of you, and you make it very easy for them to control you, because the more the information, the more the leverage, and the more the control. Now like they can even allow you to stay, but for control purposes, right? So you just be comfortable with silence. It's okay for there to be silence. It's okay for people to just not be saying anything, and it's okay for you to be silent too at some point. Be selfish with your information. It's very important. Next is never outshine the master, and this I had to learn the hard way. Okay, you cannot make people above you. You cannot make people above you feel inferior, because when you do, you become a threat. And no matter how good you are at your job, just make sure that you never make the person who is hiring you or the person who is giving you those opportunities feel like you're trying to show them that you're better than them. Because now when you do that, you create animosity that is very unnecessary. Like you make them feel like mbona unafanya hivyo, you know, and then you might end up costing yourself opportunities that otherwise would have propelled you really far. So when you actually have proximity to power, you have to know that confronting it directly is the most bad idea that you can ever have. Like it's okay, let them it's okay. I'm not saying like dull yourself down or dump yourself down or be stupid. No, you can still be smart, but also be wise enough to know when to show people you are actually smart and when to be just quiet and humble about it, especially in those situations. Because let me tell you, Maina, if you ever show somebody who is already accomplished and they've gone so far in life, na unataka hapo kwenda kumuonyesha when you are smarter than them, never works. So it takes a very smart person to actually calm themselves down when they know they are smart, but you have to play it down, because you don't want to make somebody feel threatened and they're helping you, right? Next is make others come to you. You attract and not chase. And this is because if you keep chasing something, not if we talk about the fact that psychologically, if you keep chasing something, you keep registering in your mind or teaching your nervous system to feel like you lack something, and then your nervous system gets comfortable in lack, and so you will keep being like uta lack to 24/7. You will always lack because you've trained your mind to live with lacking, you know. So what you do is you don't go around behaving like you're lacking love or you're lacking anything. You go around thinking like you're a complete person, you're a full person, and that means that you attract people who are aligned with your own energy. And this is the same thing here. You don't want to attract somebody who is not aligned with your energy. You don't want to attract a network that is going to come and maybe be useful once and then destroy you later, right? So you want to network with people who actually align with what it is that you want and what it is that you actually want to achieve from what you're doing, right? So you don't chase, you just build a skill. You have like something to offer, and then people will come to you for it. Simple. The next one is guard your reputation with your life. As a girl who walks around saying that I don't care what people think of me, I feel like we can have two definitions, or we can hold two truths at the same time, right? One, I don't care what people think about me. That's true. But I also care about my reputation and my first impression? Yes. Because you see, when you meet somebody for the first time, you create a whole impression of this person. And it's very hard to get rid of these impressions. And most of the time, they are not accurate. Like, when somebody could be thinking about me right now, it's very inaccurate, but it could be affecting the amount of opportunities that I could get. Because if they think about me like that and they go tell somebody else like that, and it will be very hard for me to pull myself out and be like, explain myself and telling them, no, I'm not like that, I am like this. You see, so your reputation matters. Yes, do not care about what people think about you, but at the same time, make sure that every time you're going somewhere or you're doing something, make sure that people's first impression of you is what you would like them to think. Make sure that your clothes, the way you show up, the way you talk, shows a person that you want to show. It's not like you're leaving people room to figure out who you could be. Make sure that you show up as somebody, have a personality. Acha watu wajue this is who she is. Now it's whether we want to be friends, we want to have a network with her or not, right? So again, perception shapes reality, and that's the truth. Your perception is shaping your reality, and other people's perceptions are shaping their own realities. And at the same time, how people perceive you shapes how they interact with you, right? So then the next one is, before we go to the next one, make sure that you do not ignore attacks on your reputation. Okay, there are there are battles that you don't engage in, but battles where somebody is trying to taint your reputation and somebody is trying to spread things that are not true about you, and you know that these things can affect your personal life and your professional life, do not hesitate to clear that up, and make sure that you make it clear that next time, please spread rumors that have facts around them. Okay, next is learn to use your enemies. One thing about me is that I know that an enemy is very important, because one, when somebody doesn't like you, they tell you the truth. They tell you your flaws, they tell you what you're doing wrong without sugarcoating it. And that means that you can be able to learn, and you can be able to change, and you can be able to grow, right? So it all depends. I always say, like, it's just a matter of perspective. Is it a 6? Is it a 9? You know? So you can have somebody who is always trying to attack you, always trying to do things that, always trying to make you feel like you're less of a person. And that's okay, because when they do that, they make sure that they are being very honest. Sometimes they're like they're doing too much, yeah, but most of the time the things that they tell you are true things that you need to change on, and it's important to have such in your life. Okay, then the next point is think as you think as you like, but behave like everyone else. And this is very important. Not every opinion requires to be expressed or shared. Okay, repeat after me. Not every opinion requires to be shared or requires to be put out there. Not every unconventional belief needs to be talked about. You know, sometimes, okay, not sometimes, all the time, our society will punish nonconformity more than it will ever punish people who do the wrong things. And it's sad, but it's true. Okay? So when you are actively being defiant to systems and stuff like that, it means that you are putting yourself in a very tough situations and creating too many enemies and trying to fight a battle that you can never win. Okay? So you just live your truth, but then think as you are, but then make sure that out here you are living and coexisting just like everybody else is. You do not need people to validate your opinions, and this I am telling myself. You do not need people to validate your opinions. You do not need people to understand your worldview. You do not need to change people and to make them realize the things that you see. It's okay. Okay, it's a battle that you can never win, and it's just putting yourself as a target and putting yourself as telling people, hey, I'm different and please throw stones at me. That is exactly what you're doing. So what you do is, yes, I'm living my truth and I know what I know and I think how I think, but that is not what everybody else is thinking out here, and that is not what everybody else is living out here. And so what do? You just live life like everybody else is living. Notice those patterns, but remind yourself that it's not your job to call people out. And I always say this because for you to actually learn something new, you have to open your mind, especially things that involve beliefs and vitu zenye watu wanaamini, right? It takes somebody to actually question. You see, that's the point. It takes somebody to actually question their reality for them to accept a new one, right? And if somebody is not actively questioning their society or their reality or their norms of life, then you coming out and telling them, no, this thing society has been doing is wrong, it's like they're wondering, who do you think you are? You know, it's like, calm down. You know, it's okay, you see these things, you understand these things, but it's a battle you can never win, and it's okay, because at the end of the day, it was always just for you, okay? The awakening, the whole thing, it was for you, okay? And these journeys are personal. You can't make everybody feel these things. You can't make people see these things. You can't make people question their realities until they're ready to do so. You can never be the one who catalyzes that. And so the sooner you accept that, the better. How many minutes? Okay, so nimalizie tu. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and I hope that you go out there, network, build connections, meaningful connections, meet people, build skills, do whatever it is that you need to do. Girlies, we need to succeed. We need to make money. Bye.